time, especially to see if there are any questions. Okay, here we go.
Okay, this is Bruce.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's virtual Indiana Thoroughbred Breed Development Program Advisory Committee meeting. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. My name is Megan Arsman, and joining us today is Jessica Barnes, Director of Racing and Breed Development. We have Bruce Murphy, the Chairman of the Indiana Thoroughbred Breed Development Program Committee, and the committee members, Blaine Davidson and Tianna Richardville. We have Tom Mosley from Itoba and Leanne Richwine from Itoba as well, and Brian Elmore from the Indiana HBPA. We have a live Q&A box to the right. If you guys are tuning in and watching us, you are welcome to ask your questions that pertains to what we are discussing in the meeting, and they will be addressed. If you want, you could have also sent an email to Jessica at jbarnes@hrc.ion.gov prior to the meeting as well. There is the meeting information packet is on the website. If you go to hrc.ion.gov and you look under meetings, we have all that information there that you can go ahead and open up the meeting documents, but we will be showing them live as well. So after further ado, I will take this over to Jessica and we will get this meeting started.
Okay, before I turn it over to Bruce, our chair, I just want to say, as we start to look at these documents, you know, our program, the Thoroughbred Breed Development Program, along with the racetracks, the quarter horse program, the standardbred program, all the programs, we've taken a major hit with the casinos being closed the past couple months. So, you know, we're all looking at a situation that we've never been in before, where we're having to make adjustments that we never thought we would have to make. So I just want to say, as we get to this, you know, we had a program in place. We'll be looking at bringing that program back that was approved for next year and working with that. But for this year, we had to do some things out of the box to make some things work. And I'm thankful for everybody working together, and especially the tracks coming in. You'll see when we start looking at this proposal that they actually up their base just a little bit to make things work. And you know, I want to say out there that this is a one-time thing from them, and we'll go back to the original what was there before. So what was originally there for the 2020 program. So I will turn it over to Bruce. That was just my little spiel saying that you know, where we're at money-wise and how we've all had to take a hit, and we're hoping just to make the best we can of everything. So Bruce.
Okay, Jessica, thank you very much. Okay, I reckon the May 15th Indiana Thoroughbred Breed Development meeting will now come to order. And first, I'd like to start off by saying, hey, this has been a very tough year. I want to start at the very top, saying I think we need to give a big thank you to the governor, the commissioners, Dina, Jessica, Megan, everybody there, to the track. Brian's worked hard. Everybody's put in a lot of time, and it's been very trying for people, I'm sure. And Eric, you're just getting started here, and we appreciate everything you've done. And I reckon that's why I wanted to say, just to get started, thank you very much to everyone. So I reckon we'll start off on the 2020, the projected review, Jessica, if you'd just like to jump right into that.
Okay. I just had a text message for somebody that could not get into the event, the live event. If you can't get into it, sorry, just to backtrack a minute, I just want to make sure everybody who's tuning in are able to tune in. Try to actually key into your search bar. Hold on just a second. I just got to pull up the thing here.
Jessica, I'm also going to go ahead and repost the link onto the Facebook page and onto Twitter If
Okay.
anybody wants to get on there, they can.
Okay, so we can do that. Okay. So she'll repost that. If you're going to our commission meeting page, which is www.
This is Tom Mosley.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Tom.
Tom, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just got a fourth text from someone that's not able to get in.
So
it's showing the screen that I forwarded you to in the text.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to hold up the meeting. I just wanted you to know. I don't know if
Right.
there's a way to track how many people are actually on or not.
Yeah, we've got 8 on there.
Okay. A couple of them are real computer savvy and have done these kind of meetings before. I think that's why I forwarded the text.
Yeah, I mean, the key is to not, I think most people have had the best luck if they haven't logged in and you just, you go in and watch as a guest and you don't download the Teams app.
Okay. I'll forward that text along and I won't bring that up anymore.
Okay. Okay. So to get started, if you guys want me to go ahead, the 2020 budget projections, you know, we had estimated around $13 to $14 million. So this is a big hit to the program. So we're looking at with what we have already came in for AGR and what we had come in, what is the remainder of the year, our estimations. We're looking at about $6,443,000 in AGR money. Breakages and outs have already been deposited, and then I've made an adjustment for breakages. That's estimated to be $300,000, and then to utilize from our reserves, we're pulling in $1,500. So at the end of the day, we've got around $7.9 million available for the racing program. And then that leaves us with a projected balance of $1,837,000 come December 31st of this year, if all these numbers hit correctly. This actually brings us below what the commission requires us to keep in the bank. So this actually brings us below the $2 million that we're required by the commission. And I've actually had conversations with our executive director and our chair and vice chair to kind of make sure that I was okay to proceed doing this. So it does bring us below that $2 million. It's not going to give us much to play with next year in terms of throwing in extra money from reserves. So we are going to be limited on next year's program to what we've got coming in. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that as we go forward. Any questions? No questions? Bruce, Tianna, Blaine?
No, none for me.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Then if we look at that and then we go to the next spreadsheet that we have, this is the proposal of the program that I've worked on. Like I said, I started out with a program that we had approved for 2020. And I started plugging in the budget numbers that we had available and trying to see how I can make things work. The first thing I did was, in order to keep the stake races and not have to cut or eliminate any stake races, I actually reduced those purses down for the stake races. So I reduced the $100,000 stake races to 75. I reduced the signature stakes from 150 to 100. And I actually reduced the Itoba Stallion season stake down to 65. Okay. The track came back to us and they said that the track was willing to put in the same amount that they did for the stake races, for our stake races, even though we were reducing the purses. So that helped us tremendously because it actually freed up some breed development dollars that we could use for overnights. So you'll see here that the track is still contributing their same amount that they did last year, $35,000 for each one of the regular stake races, $75,000 for those signature stakes, and then the 25 for the Itoba. So that's kind of where we end up with the stake races in this proposal. And then I started looking at what can we do, if you take that number off the top, what do we have left and what can we do with the remainder of the program? Being aware that even though our revenue's down, we're still mandated by the statute at the 41%. So I tried to keep that aware to get to that. The first proposal I did, I kept the second and third place breeders awards, and it brought our total number of overnights down by over 35. And I thought that was probably not the best thing for the people that are competing, the people who haven't been able to race this year, that I thought that we needed to, put that second and third place on hold until next year. So I went back to the Breeders' Awards, the 20% that we had just for the first place, plugged it in, adjusted the differential between sired-only races and Indiana bred races, and just basically adjusted all the numbers. So my approach at this was, we had 305 races in the program for 2020, and I actually calculated what the loss was, what percentage decrease were we losing in revenue. And I actually went through, and the number of races you see there proposed is actually applied that decrease to it. So that's kind of how we got to where we're at now. There has to be the differential between the bred races and the sired for us to get to that percentage that we're required by statute. I still had a really hard time making the numbers work, and I just couldn't get there. And so I went to the track and said, would you guys be willing to add on $300 to your base, to your $9,000 base? And graciously, they said yes, with the understanding that this is for this year only. We're all trying to figure out how to get through this whole pandemic thing. And they were nice enough to do that. And then that actually got me to a balanced budget. So this program in front of you's got it's got reduced stakes, but all the stakes stay intact. We have all the stakes that are there, including the new 2 sired stakes that we added from the program. It takes the Breeders' Awards to 2019 levels, so a 20% Breeders' Award, 10% Stallion Awards, just like they were in 2019. It does do a differential between sired and bred races. It keeps the new conditions we added for sired races, for overnight races, it keeps those in there, and then all of the race numbers have been adjusted. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Jessica, there was a question regarding going into the reserves. Does this mean that we are cutting into next year's money as well?
No, the commission was pretty comfortable with where we were at with that 1.8. So my recommendation to the commission would be that we're going to basically change that baseline going forward to the 1.8. When I spoke with the chairman and vice chair, they were pretty comfortable with where we were at. So this would not be cutting into next year's money unless all of our projections are a whole lot lower than any of us are estimating. And I can tell you that we've all got some pretty conservative projections. So I'm very hopeful that our projections are either right on track or really low.
Jessica, this is Tianna.
Yes.
How many races did you say we had in the previous 307, was it?
Yeah, it was. I have that proposal right here. Get to the spreadsheet. It was, I believe, 30. Sorry, be patient with me here a minute. I've got 10 zillion spreadsheets on my chair. It is, I'm just going to open it up on my computer.
Jessica, I have in the notes that we had 304.
304.
Okay. If we're looking to be really on the positive side, I guess they're better than projected. Are we doing a combination of maybe if it's at early point in the meet or midpoint where some of these stakes could be, we could have more opportunities, or do we have like a projected possible plan of getting some things back if things are going well? Or
yeah, when I talked to the commissioners, and my plan has been that if we get a month or two into this and projections are much better than we think we are, and we've got money, I think that we are more than able to go back to the commission with an amended proposal.
And that could be more opportunities and possibly stakes returning to their previous, or just going up some, whatever that would be.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a meeting that the committee would need to have, and we would discuss, where we are above, what money we have, and how we want to, reallocate that. So,
and I guess Eric and Kevin probably, how far into, I know nobody really knows, but how long into getting back into operation do you think it'd take to get an idea of how things are going? Or maybe we won't know. I don't.
No, hey, this is Eric. I think it's a fair question for the group here. What I've talked to Kevin and Jessica and Brian about especially was, I really think that, let's say 4 to 6 weeks into the meet, we're going to know what we are. And that's assuming the casino opens in mid-June. It won't take us long to figure out whether we're going to be able to hit capacity in the casino, whether our out-of-state handle, is exceeding projections. That's why we're running Monday to Thursday. Don't forget, our whole goal is to take that up a level to be able to relook at these these purses and figure out what to do from there. So I would throw out to the group, and I said it to Brian as well, on the open side and the HPPA side, let's, after 4 weeks of the meet, mid-July or maybe a little after, let's all sit down. We'll have Anna on our side too, figure out where we're at, and I mean, it's your money. If we're doing great, let's get it to you somehow. This is, you know, a very simple goal that we all have the same thing here.
And I guess I haven't been watching updates from the governor enough lately, but I've heard the date of June 14th for the casino. Is that set in stone, or do we still not know for sure when we're opening back up? And is it at 50%, which is, I think we talked the meeting the other day, is capacity is 8,600, so it'd be 4,300? Are they?
Yeah, it's just Eric. This Eric again. It's you're full of good questions here, Tianna, because some of it is a little bit unknown, but the hope is, and our staff is planning ramping up for June 14th. You know, a lot of that is dependent on the IGC with, you know, how they're dealings with the governor's office, just like the IHRC has had those. The casino side of our business is dealing with them as well. But you know, I can tell you, you know, every direction that we've looked right now appears June 14th is a go. But things change, and I certainly wouldn't guarantee that's the case. I would say you use 50%. We're also looking for some clarification on what that means, because if it's a fire code thing, you know, that's much different than gaming positions. You know, we're having to try to figure out if the building capacity is 4,300, that's way, you know, 50% of that is probably way more customers than most people would expect. So I'll get you some better answers on that, because, you know, I'm more of a listener when it comes to the casino side, but I'm excited because all our staff our executive staff on the casino side is starting up. I think it's next week. You know, Mike Rich is back in town, so if that tells you anything, I think we're getting closer to getting ready to go.
Jessica, this is Bruce. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I did have one question. Okay, on the Itoba Stallion season stakes race, okay, and we discussed this a little bit this morning. Last year, that was a $75,000 race. So, and this year it's only going to be 65. Okay, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically, when I was working the numbers, I had to, and it could be that it's 75, that Itoba decides to make it 75. But since we were decreasing our contribution to all the stake races, I thought it was only fair that the breed development gets decreased there too. And I had to decrease what we were putting in from breed development in order to make our numbers work. Now, if Itoba wants to make up that other, you know, $10,000 for each race, then they completely could.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I just decreased our contribution.
Something that, okay. And I understand. I mean, we're all, this is different. This is all new for all of us. Okay. So anyway, we're going to have a meeting next week. Itoba will. Okay. And I reckon that's something that they'll have to discuss at that meeting. So. Blaine, you got any questions or anything to ask?
No, I think it's been submitted pretty well. I wish we had more money, but I don't think Jessica can go out there and find a tree to pick it off of.
If I could have, I would have. So.
You wouldn't have come
It'd have been easier than what she did.
Yes. I told her the other day that all that was heaped on her shoulders, she was going to be a hunchback in a couple of years. I think you've done a very good job. Track for what they've done. And I think we're all trying to just get this race. We're very, very, very fortunate to even be able to race this year. And I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. And I know it's not what everybody wants. Hell, it ain't what I want. But if you've only got X number of dollars, you can't spend Y. And I thank everybody for their input on this.
This is Bruce. So does Megan, does anybody else have any questions out there in the audience?
We do not have any questions, no.
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
You know, and I got a question earlier emailed to me, and I don't know if it was from Mike or Penny. I responded to both of them, and I think Mike might have submitted a question already. But you know, they asked about the cap on the Breeders' Awards, and you know, what this does is goes back to the 2019 rule for the Breeders' Awards. And because our stakes are not above 100,000, you know, that cap's not there. So this doesn't really, you know, put a cap on a Breeders' Award, because I don't anticipate that we'll have any races that go above that, unless, you know, there's an Indiana bred that is able to win an open stake, you know, that's above $100,000 this year, and if that happens, I say kind of kudos to them. So
if they did win an open stake, they would get the max amount then, is
yeah,
what you're saying.
if it was above $100,000, yeah. So if we did have an Indiana bred, you know, and I think that is, you know, it hasn't happened in the past. It's, you know, we didn't put a cap on there. So just because I think the likelihood of that happening is probably, it's pretty small. I mean, the majority of the purses are going to be under that threshold. So, and I'd be excited for somebody if they did win one of those open stakes. So,
Kevin, what's the highest purse on an open allowance race?
An open allowance race, I think it's 39,000. Let me see. I'll tell you exactly.
So with the bred winning that, it still wouldn't put it into a above 100,000 range, I guess.
No.
With the extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Okay.
Okay, this is Bruce again. Okay, Jessica, and okay, Tianna, thank you. Those are very good questions. And Mike, thank you for that question. That was very good to know. And Jessica came up with a great solution there for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon there isn't any other questions about that. Did we do that?
I'd make a motion
Okay,
to.
now we need to go to the 2020. Okay, we've got the 2020 admitted program. Okay, we'll be to the, I'm reading this off a paper I wrote it on. Okay, sorry, folks. We'd be to the old business, correct?
We would need a motion to approve, to make the recommendation for the 2020
Okay.
Amended program. And then I think we could move forward with sending that to the commission. I'm confident that we can go ahead and let Kevin start working on the condition book, and we just kind of put an asterisk out there that it's pending commission approval. But I don't think that the commission would not approve it. So we would need a motion from the committee members.
Bruce, this is Blaine. I make that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Tianna. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Okay.
Okay, thank you everybody for that. Okay, now we'll go on next to the old business.
Okay. I just put it on there in case there was any old business.
Okay, okay. Blaine, Tianna, you guys have any old business to discuss?
I can't think of anything.
Not me.
I think we're all just so excited for the new racing season. Okay, that's going to be the great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we'll go on to new business.
Hey, I kind of like these telephone calls.
It's actually worked better than I thought it would. So if you would have asked me Tuesday, I would have been saying, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's worked better than we thought. So
I guess I have when do we have an idea of when the Indiana Day was and how that's going to change from some of the things we talked about? What days it fall on? And I know Bruce asked if it could be on a Saturday, but is it late? I don't remember. Is it late in the season or early or?
I think
Currently,
it's going to be
October 28th.
When was that again, Kevin?
October 28th.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin, this is Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce.
Is there any way possible, only because of the sale and everything that they have plans, October has scheduled, is there any way that we could get that to the 17th? Only because that would make it before the Facing-Tipton sale. And then we have Indiana Day, which we really want to make it a big day, okay? We want to have, we really want to promo I'm talking now as Itoba, okay? They really want to promo the racetrack, the breeders, the owners, the Indiana bred horses, and then that next day is their sale. So if they could get it on like the 17th and have the sale on the 18th, they said that they thought it would help them with the Facing-Tipton against them. So would there be a possibility they could do that?
I understand what you're saying, and we'll take that on board. The casino and the racetrack has to decide on whether we want to, run that Saturday, schedule that Saturday first. But if I do move that, it kind of messes up pretty much the whole race scheduling of all the other stakes right now. I've gone back and I've had to redo it, I guess, 3 times now, and I've got it to where I think it's pretty good on a schedule-wise basis.
They said they could live with that. They would just like to have. They would prefer the other, but I think they'll accept it. Okay.
Okay.
What day does that fall?
Look at,
mm-hmm.
What day does that fall on, Kevin? Day of the week?
So Wednesday.
Wednesday. And our best handle day in the past has been like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right?
Wednesdays, yeah.
This is Bruce again. Hey, Kevin, maybe you wasn't on here. We was talking just beforehand, okay? And I'd talked to Eric about that, and we was going to try to discuss a little bit with you next week, okay? I understand what Itoba's thinking. If we'd have that Indiana Day like on a Wednesday or through the week, Indiana people they aren't going to come in through the week during the day, okay? And I understand there is going to be a loss of handle, there probably would be, but I really think that if we can have the attendance there, I really think some of it can be made up with that, but also just promoting the track and trying to get those people from the track to the casino for buying food or something would maybe help make up a little bit. But I think that would just kill the crowd if it was through the week. And I understand that we're in a pandemic year, okay? But I think that'd be really bad for the Indiana Day because we have so many just local people. We wanted to get the farms in there, and I'd like to be able to discuss this maybe later with you and Eric and whoever, with Mike, and see if we could get that arranged.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to decide today or tomorrow, for that matter, on the stake schedule per se. I just need to get the first condition book out there. It'll include a couple of races, couple stake races in it, probably 4. So we need to get it decided early next week.
Kevin, you'd have to decide that by early next week, you said?
I would like to, yes, because it changes everything, because they flow into each other. I'm trying to space the races apart enough to where you can run your horse in as many of the Indiana breed development program stakes as possible.
Not knowing the schedule, if we got later in the year, like you said, in July or August, we would know where we were kind of, and we, just thinking very optimistically that we could add a day. I guess moving that stake from a Wednesday to a Saturday would 3 days mess up the schedule?
No, you're not. Well, you're not talking about 3 days. You're talking about 11 days right now, which backs it up into the AJ Foyt and the Florence Henderson, and then into the other 2-year-old races, the Hillsdale and the City of Anderson, and it backs up into the Gus Grissom and the Richmond. It backs everything up into each other.
Why would it have to be 11? I guess I'm not.
Well, right now it's scheduled for the 28th, and they want to run it on the 17th. That's backing it up 11 days.
Okay, how about if we would go to the 31st then, Kevin? And that would do it on Saturday.
That would be an easy one.
That's what I was saying. Move it ahead 3 days.
Yep.
Okay.
The 31st would be fine.
Let's work on that.
About it.
Moving it to the 31st.
Well, so hold on here. This is Eric again. Yeah. So what I'm suggesting to the group, and I would appreciate this because I've already sent a revision to Dina and the commissioners. If we could get what we sent approved, so Kevin can get a condition book, we can get a stake schedule, we can get everything laid out there. Dina has told me come back later if there's things that we find out just aren't working. Heck, we might find out that our Monday to Thursday thing isn't working the way we thought, and we might want to go back to Saturdays. Or I think we've got some options there, and believe me, whatever is best for everybody is what we're going to want to do.
I was kind of just saying, like, after you said we got into it 4 or 6 weeks, we might have an idea, and hopefully, I said, being optimistic, we're going to have more money than we think, and it might be an added day that you could add, not change the schedule, just add an extra day, hopefully, but just as a possibility, not saying.
Yep, understand, Tianna, and if that's the case, let's figure out what works best for everybody. But for the way it sits right now, I'd sure appreciate if we could keep what we submitted, with the second revision, and then let's figure out after that what we need to adjust. Because I think we're going to find out, not just like Tianna mentioned on the question about the purses and where we're at. I think 4 to 6 weeks in, we're going to figure out whether we hit it right on Monday to Thursday. We'll know which day is working best, and at that time, if all people are coming out to the track and we're all pleased with that, let's figure out what the last few months of the meet look like, and you'll certainly have our ear, Bruce. We want to make it best for everybody.
Okay. No, I'm sure you will. Everybody has so far this year, buddy. Okay, so we appreciate everything.
This is Brian. I got a question for Kevin. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are the horses that would be participating on the races on the 28th, a lot of those could be the same horses that would come back on November 17th? I mean, is that spacing crucial? Wherever you end up putting them, I don't care. But will some of those be the same horses?
Absolutely.
So you don't want to run them too close together. You want to give those horses time to recoup, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
This is Tom Mosley. I had a question and a comment. Are the new sired races that'll be claiming races? Will those be in the condition book?
Yes, they're all in the condition book, Tom.
Okay, good deal. The other thing, just before this is over, I think everyone is going to look at this and there's some they don't like, but after they've had a chance to reflect, it's a pandemic that's killed tens of thousands of people, and we're all very fortunate just to be back racing horses again. and hopefully everything goes good. And I think Jessica and your staff really worked your butts off to put all this together, and appreciate all the work from the breed development people. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Tianna, did you have something to say?
No, I just like to think I'm going to be super optimistic about it, whether that's right or wrong, and that we'll be meeting again soon to talk about where we can add more money to. It's what I'm hopeful of.
That a girl.
Is there any outside questions, Bruce?
We did have a question. Somebody is interested in just knowing the details on the ITOBA meeting that Bruce mentioned. They couldn't find information and they would like to be able to attend.
Okay, that will not be it's going to be a phone meeting also. Okay, I can tell you, because we just haven't been able to find a place, and with all the restrictions that there is, okay, we're going to have that as a phone meeting right here, and then hopefully our June meeting, okay, will be an open meeting, okay, where we can meet with people, okay. But I think if they'll go to the ITOBA website, okay, and if there is not, if I get on there and find out there isn't, okay, I will definitely make sure that, you know, this information is on there. Leanne, are you on here? Okay. Anyway, check the ITOBA website, okay, and we will see. And if not, we will make sure it gets on there. But I'm pretty sure that it was. So thank you very much for that.
I have one more question, I guess, kind of. I don't know if this is the right place, but maybe Eric and Kevin mostly. The Derby falls on a Wednesday, correct? What's the date of the Derby? Right. Okay. Do we run any Indiana stakes on Derby Day?
I've scheduled 2 Indiana stakes on that day. Yes.
Okay. And Eric?
I'll tell you which one.
Have you
the Hoosier Breeder Sophomore, both the fillies and the colts, 3-year-olds, 8.5 furlongs.
And I guess, Eric, have you guys got to the point yet where you talked about what you're going to be able to do for the Derby? And maybe we could kind of, if the Indiana Day falls on a Wednesday, we can model after the success of that, hopefully. But is there going to be, or maybe we don't know, we're not that far along, but are you talking much about any activities going on during the Derby, or is it unknown?
So Tianna, yep, no, that's okay. That was Eric again. So first of all, that date for the Derby, we sure don't mind talking about it here. We're going to make a kind of a big announcement middle next week, probably start generate some more publicity just for the meet starting and whatnot. The short answer is we haven't done a ton of planning yet, and 2 reasons. First of all, Kevin and I are the only ones working. We're literally that building and racing building and the main building. I'm in the main building, Kevin's in the racing building, and we've got to get our marketing staff back. Quite a bit of our staff doesn't even know there's a change yet. So haven't started a lot of those details. They're coming, but you know, I fully believe let's make a big day even bigger, and you know, we're planning on having a major presence on TVG that day. We're going to use some promotional dollars that we're not spending on some of the Saturday night promotions that we had planned, and you know, we're going to make that we're going to have quite a big day that day. So more to come on that. You know, one of the issues we're still trying to figure out too, Tianna, is just what we can actually do with the new regulations. And if we're at 50% capacity, obviously it's going to change things up a lot. And you guys know the building as well, or better than I do, and we'll have to figure out what we can actually get done. But we will get after it as soon as everybody can get back to work.
I think that would be maybe a good opportunity if it would fit in for TVG to maybe when we have our Indiana bred races somehow highlight a little bit about the program if that was possible. But.
Yeah, I think that's great. And one of the things I think, because you hit on the topic there, that I think we're all grateful to be racing, but we're feeling a pinch here, and everybody should. I know is a little bit down about it, but if you take a look around the country, in the open races around the country, in the breed races around the country, there's a lot of them that have taken a major step back. And for where we're at, we got something to brag about, and every chance we get, I promise you we will. That's for sure.
Okay, this is Bruce again. Okay, thank you everybody for all the comments today. I know it's a little different, like we said. Next meeting date?
I think that we try to continue to meet once a month. So I think we try to. I can get dates off. We can look at the calendar now, or we can wait and look, later on. But I think we have a meeting. If we're supposed to start racing June 15th, maybe we have a meeting that last week in June. So we come back and meet, or we can push it out to July. But I would like us, even if we don't have anything to discuss, just to kind of meet and see how things are going. So that would be my thought, if the committee members would like to do that.
This is Blaine. Do you think we need to have another meeting before they start racing? Or do you think we're okay?
I think we're okay. I think
it'd be better to wait till a couple weeks in to kind of get a little bit of a feel for how things are going.
Okay. Well, then maybe we look at, if they start racing the 15th, maybe we look right after the 4th of July. So around like the 7th of July.
And that's the date we might be back to normal after the 1st.
Yeah.
What day does that fall on, Jessica?
That is a Tuesday. So, if we wait until later on in that week, like a Friday, like the 10th, we could probably have, if the casinos do get back open June 14th, we would probably have that report maybe in from the Gaming Commission to see what those numbers are by the 10th.
I would say it's going to need to be on a Friday just because of racing.
Racing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So racing, we can tentatively say July 10th right now.
Okay.
If you guys would like.
Suits me. I'm good with it.
Okay, so we will tentatively say July 10th at like a 1:30. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Sounds.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay.
You don't
okay.
Want to
any last questions from anyone, please?
This doesn't have anything to do with it. Do we know how many horses are on the backside yet? About
250.
250. And there was 150 prior to our last move-in date, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Hey, Kevin, actually, I had a phone call with Dee from our security staff. She told me there was almost 400. That was just
okay. That was
an hour ago.
Perfect. Yeah. Good deal.
Going well.
How many stalls do we have?
For thoroughbreds, 948.
How many? Because 400 both were correct, I'm assuming.
Pardon?
How many total stalls? You said thoroughbred 948. How many total?
Total stalls 1,049. That's not counting the receiving barns.
We're over at capacity right now, pretty much.
Yes.
No, I do. If I know what the dollar amount, it's in here, so you can take it with you. I don't either, but it's a checkbook is in here. You grab it with check.
I see the post is 210. Was that correct?
We're
What was
looking
that
at,
question again?
What was the post for racing Monday through Thursday? I forgot. 210
Yep.
was it?
We're looking at 220, Tianna, as I'm looking at some of the other tracks and what they're coming out with. You know, once you go to what we're trying to do, we really become a studio almost, and those times are really important to us. So 220 is kind of a good spot in there.
Do we know what other tracks are in that window, or have there been any added that?
It's coming in very light right now. There was one track that said they were going to go Monday to Thursday. That was Canterbury, but I think they're going to run more of a late afternoon, evening cards. So right now, it's pretty light on those days. You know, we'll just knock on wood that stays that way for a while.
Okay, this is Bruce again. Okay, I think we're ready to wrap this meeting up. If I'd hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Hey, Bruce, real quick.
Okay, hold on. Yes.
Real quick is we just want to make sure that we stress to everybody that they can stay up to date on our website by checking out the top where we have the IHRC COVID-19 response. And also, very, very important, if you have not done your licensing, please try to do your licensing online. We are enforcing the social distancing and restricting the number of people in our licensing offices. And this would just kind of save you time and save you the worry of having to worry about being 6 feet apart. If you can go onto the website and complete your licensing. If you have any questions, you can contact the licensing office at Indiana Grand and they can help you out. And as always, we like to tell everybody we have our newsletters. If you want to have the latest information sent directly to your inbox at least once a month, make sure you sign up on the website so that way you receive the newsletters. And that will have meeting announcements and any other updates as well. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that not only are we staying updated on our social media, but we're also staying updated on our website if anybody has any questions. But we don't have any other questions from the audience, so you are good to go.
Okay. All in favor, motion of the meeting being adjourned, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried, motion adjourned. Everybody, please stay healthy, stay safe, wear those masks, use and continue the social distancing.
Thank you, everyone, for your cooperation and your work to make this happen. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica and Megan.
Thanks,
you,
you.
Megan, for all the help.
Thank you.
Thank you.